Talk to me a little bit about steel demand. How much of it is coming from China? How concerned are you, for example, about China having to downgrade their growth? Will it impact the actual demand for steel?
Well, China is half of the consumption and half of the production in the industry. So it has tremendous impact on everything that we do. And that's one of the biggest trends that you picked up, that growth is slowing in China and in steel industry. We are going to have 1% growth comparing to 4% we had in the previous 4 years globally. Chinese economy becomes much less steel intensive, so it's switching from infrastructure to the consumer spending. So structurally it creates a problem for the industry. It means that the overcapacity that is there globally is going to persist for some time there, and the trade barriers make our life a little bit tougher.
Okay, so talk to me first of all about the overcapacity. How much of it is there? When will it naturally come down? And does it mean that actually there will be price pressure on steel for years to come, or is it months?
Well, you're exactly right. It's going to be pressure on prices. Overcapacity, there are different estimates, but it's somewhere in a range of 400 to 500 million ton per year. Just to give you, a number for comparison, the whole Russian steel production is 80 million. So it's a huge number, and it will stay there long term. Before we see healthy demand. We need another driver like China to fuel the growth further.
But Mr. Fedorishin, so you're telling me that there's overcapacity, but what I understand is that NLMK is also ready to invest. So you still want, more capacity out there on the markets. Talk me through that.
Well, in these conditions, you have to build a very resilient business model, and that's what we tried to do in the previous 5 years. It's based on operational efficiency, low cost, diversified sales, and that's what we want to do in the next 5 years. So we try to distinguish ourselves from the rest of the industry. We are very low on the cost curve, so one of the top 3 lowest cost producers globally. We're present in 7 countries. In terms of the assets, we sell to 70 countries. So, we want to be, as you call it, the last man standing if the structural troubles industry persists.
So you want to get much bigger?
We want to be bigger.
Through acquisitions?
But, that's ambitious strategy, but it's ambitious more in terms of not in terms of aggressive expansion. So
right.
we're going to add just 10% to our production. It's more aggressive in terms of quality of our product portfolio, quality of our processes inside. So it's like smart growth.
Talk to me about tariffs, but in general, just talk to me about relations between Russia and the US and Russia and Europe. Does it hurt your business?
It hurts the whole industry, and the trade barriers is bad for the industry. Against Russia steel, you can count now more than 100 cases, and some of them are in key markets where we operate, like US, Europe, or Turkey. So we have to continuously redirect our sales flow from one country to another. US is a big market for us. We have 3 million tons of production there, and now we have this 25% duty over the semi-finished products we supply there. That really hurts. So that's American company supplied from Russia, but we pay 25% tariff.
But how quickly can you redirect some of, if you're selling to the US, you're telling me that actually because of, tariffs or sanctions, you want to resell it. How long is that process? Does it take 6 months or longer? And which countries do you see having a lot of appetite for your products?
Well, for us now it's like ongoing process. So we redirect flows every 2 weeks. So we really have to find the niches, and that's why we want to improve the quality of our product portfolio, because the more value-added products you have, the easier it becomes.
If you see a trade truce or even a trade deal between the US and China, does that help you?
Well, it would definitely help. China, as I said, is a huge consumer and producer of steel. US is a big market for us, so it will be good for the whole industry, for the whole consumption.
Are your hopes that we will see a deal? Do you have any indication from certain quarters that it's going to be a deal that stands, or is it completely impossible to know?
Well, it changes every day, so it's difficult to say, but we look forward for that.
We're really in a changing economy, Mr. Fedorishin. So we look at, driverless cars, we look at AI. How do you see that impacting demand for steel products?
Well, that's the segments where we can still find the growth and the good margins, and that's where we focused our strategy. So, for example, in Northern Europe, wind generation, the alternative energy is a big topic. So that's where we want to supply electric cars, efficient grids. Those are all the products that require steel. Although it's very different steel to the commodity that people usually imagine, and that's where we want to invest.